Hello everyone, this is the Undying Nephilim and Exo, and today we're going to show you all the stuff we've been doing for the last 2 months. Is there a particular thing you want to start with, Exo, as far as, or anything you want to say before we begin?
Not in particular, just that all of the changes that you're about to see are still work in progress. There's still quite a few things that have to be looked over. But
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is definitely there, so there's something we can show off.
Alright, I'll go ahead and start the map up then, and then I'll kind of go over some of the things we'll be showing. There's quite a few things. So the main thing we'll be showing in this video is battalions. I'll probably even title this video something to do with battalions. But there's quite a few different things that we've added. In addition to battalions, there is construction frames for buildings. Like when you build something, you'll see a construction frame that is in the style of the faction you're playing as. So it's not just the 0 AD one. So like, I'm showing the Kingdom of Hyrule in this video, so we'll see like a style of construction frame that fits their buildings. The Kokiri would have a different style, and the Zora have a different style. I've made rubble for all the buildings too. So like when the buildings get destroyed, it'll match the style of their buildings that you're match the style of the faction you're playing as. The Hylians in general have had a really big overhaul. Most of their buildings have been completely redone. Their roster is completely redone, so I'll probably show most of the new Hylian stuff. God, what other things have we added? The nodes that we've added to maps. Basically, this probably won't be in the next release, but it will definitely be in a future release. But basically, instead of building civil centers wherever the heck you want, like in Age of Mythology or Battle for Middle-earth, there's nodes on a map that you have to capture, and that is where you place your civil center. Certain factions will be able to do certain different things with this, and some factions don't even have to worry about these, like the Moblins. But that's going to be a pretty big change in gameplay with how civil centers are made. God, what other things did we add? I know there's more, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. I added, oh yeah, all the different Hylian houses I've added, so I'll probably show some of those. Oh, and also when you train units, they walk out of buildings now. There's a lot of things we've added. So
Sounds and stuff. Also the
oh yeah, all the buildings have sounds now. All the units have sounds when they train. So a lot of sound work has been done. The little selection highlights around the units when you click on them, they all have custom selection things now instead of the 0 AD ones. So like infantry units have a circle, non-combat units have a square, cavalry have a triangle, and creature units have a bear paw print. The Hylians don't have any creature units though, so I don't think I'll be showing the creature one in this video. But yeah, what else have we added? There's like so many things. I feel like there's still more I haven't even mentioned.
yeah, I'll probably have to. I would have to go into the backlog even to look this
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we've added a lot of stuff. A lot of the things we did though is like under the hood stuff, like restructuring the way the template files are organized, so it's not like any visual things we can show. We've basically been like refining the game for like the last 2 months instead of adding like new factions and things like that. So there's gonna be no new factions in the next version, which I think I said when I released the Fairies and Labyrinth. I'm like, the next version's not gonna be new factions. It's gonna be like refining things already in the game because the game really needed some polish. So I guess I will go ahead and show the construction frames first, but I'm gonna need to turn off instant build for that.
There's there is one thing I just went into the backlog that I did just before the battalions, and I believe just after you released the previous, which was collision, knockback collision with buildings.
Oh yeah.
Should also be working right now.
So that if a unit deals knockback against another unit and it flies towards a building, it won't fly through the building. It'll stop at its collision.
I've still seen it happen on occasion. I have no idea why, because it should be working.
It might be because there's actually a height value to buildings, and it's a value I've not actually messed with because it's never been important. I think all the buildings have a height value of 10 right now. So it could be that. So I could try and test that out later, but that'd be my theory.
It actually could be that, but I'm not 100% sure. But
I mean, I'm not either. That's just my first guess, is that it might be because all the buildings, their collision height is only 10, because we haven't had to worry about the height collision of any building, so I haven't really thought about it. But I'll go ahead and try that out later, after this video, not for the video. But I will start building stuff, or laying some foundation, so you guys can see the construction frames, at least for the Hylians. So put that, and then what other buildings do I want? I'll do that one and that one. So yeah, when you place a building, it places kind of like a rough outline of the construction frame, and then when your workers actually start working on the building, more detail appears. And do I have instant build off? Because they built that really fast.
That is instant build.
I don't think that's instant build, because they're building fast but not super fast.
Wait.
Because yeah, the Temple of Time is still taking forever. So
yeah, okay.
It might have something to do with the fact I turned on instant build and then turned it off. But yeah, there's the Temple of Time construction frame, which I think is the coolest of all the Hylian ones. And yeah, each faction has a different style of construction frame. But we're playing as the Hylians in this video, so you'll only see the Hylians in this video. Anyway, I'll go ahead and turn instant build on again and finish everything. So yeah, that's the construction frames, and as you can already see, some of the Hylian buildings have been completely redesigned. I wasn't 100% satisfied with the ones that were already in the game, so I guess I'll build some of the other ones that were redesigned. The stables were not redesigned, but they have the archery range now. And what other new buildings do they have? Their storehouse was redesigned. That's what it looks like. Their marketplace was redesigned, and that's what it looks like. Their blacksmith was redesigned. That's what it looks like. And their castle was redesigned. That is what it looks like. So anyway, I guess we'll show the battalions next then. The big main awesome feature. Or is there anything else you think we should talk about first?
I mean, no, sure. If you want to go ahead and give
it a whirl. All right.
A whirl.
So the big main feature that is gonna be in this next version that Exo has been working on for. You worked on it for like what, 2 or 3 months now?
Probably somewhere around that time frame, yeah.
A little bit longer than most of the things you worked on, except for like the AI. Basically, one of the features that was cool in Medieval 2 that I eventually wanted to carry over to the 0 AD version of the game was instead of training one unit at a time, it trains a group of units that like stay together and fight together and take all of their orders together. However, unlike Medieval 2, I didn't want the sizes of the battalions to be quite as huge, so it's more along the lines of Battle for Middle-earth. So most factions, they'll have like squadrons of like 10 guys, and you know, it changes depending on the faction. Like the Goma have larger sizes of battalions, whereas the Gorons have smaller sizes, and the Darknuts don't even have any. The Darknuts just train one guy at a time because they're so freaking powerful. But we'll be able to show the battalions right now. And also another feature that Exo added is when you train units, they'll actually walk out of the building and then go to the rally point instead of just appearing magically in the front. So I'll go ahead and set the rally point to like down here. And then I'll train some Hylian units, some swordsmen. And instant builds on, so they're all going to be like clustered together. But If instant
Yeah.
build wasn't on, they'd come out like one at a time and not all the clusters together.
You can also try the batch thingy, and it should do it a little bit neater.
So yeah, the units are trained in groups, and the groups will stay together. Even if you click on only one of them and like order them, they'll stay in formation, just like in Battle for Middle Earth. Command and Conquer 3 also had battalions like that. I actually think Command and Conquer 3 used the same engine as Battle for Middle Earth, if I remember right. Like in Medieval 2, the Medieval 2 had groups of soldiers staying together too. But also, I can show another new feature in addition to battalions, and that is the houses that the Hylians have. Basically, because the Hylians are a feudal civilization, the royal family has to appease all the different houses. So all of their soldiers are made up of units from the different houses. And when you train a unit, there is a percentage chance of certain houses showing up. So most of the time, you will get the purple guys, which are House No Hansen, which is basically the house that is in power right now. They're the royal families, basically almost all No Hansen. So most of your units will still be the purple uniforms under House No Hansen, but there's a chance you will get guys from other houses that train, like the black and the gold ones are House Murata. The yellow and the green ones are House Malcarico, and these guys are House Harkinian. And there's the chances of certain houses spawning are different. So smaller houses have a much smaller chance of spawning. And like I said earlier, I think it's like a 70% chance you'll get a House No Hansen color scheme. So yeah, I'll go ahead and train a few more units so that we can see if we get some different houses. Nope, getting more purple. Oh, I see Rome, which is the blue and white. No, almost all purple that time. We only got one House Rome.
How many did you add again? How many houses?
There's 20 houses in total right now. So yeah, as you can see, most of the time you'll get No Hansen because they're the ones in power. But there's the blue and the white ones, which is House Rome. So yeah, actually we got in this one we got Malcarico, which is I think like a 10% chance of spawning. But yeah, there's 20 houses in total, so you'll see 20 different variations for all of their levy based units. Which also leads me to another feature, I guess, is it's not so much a feature, it's more so the Kingdom of Hyrule, the way their units, the way their faction works has basically been completely redone. And they have unit lines now, which if you played Age of Empires, you might be familiar with unit lines. Which is, instead of having like 20 different units, they have lines of units that basically upgrade from one unit to the next, to the next, to the next through researching technologies. So as an example, at their barracks, they've got the swordsmen, they got macemen, and they got spearmen. And they start out as levies, but as you advance through technology, you can upgrade the levies to soldiers, and then the soldiers to even more beefy units. So I'll go ahead and upgrade all their swordsmen to soldiers. And then as you can see, all of their armor and weaponry upgrades. So now they have like beefier armor and weapons and whatnot, and their stats are completely different. And then I can upgrade them a second time, and they'll have even beefier armor and weapons and stats. And each of the armor is loosely based on a particular era in their history. So the final one, the final upgrade is like what the Hylians look like at the very end of the Nephi canon timeline versus what they look like at the start. And they roughly correspond to the styles of Hylian armor from different Zelda games. So yeah, we kind of showed battalions and some of the Hylian stuff. What else were we gonna show? Or what else about battalions are we gonna talk about?
Well, the thing is that some of the, how would you say, behavior of all of the units combined. Just the way they all move together, as you can clearly see. Also, the way they attack has been severely changed. So the way they occupy buildings, garrisoning and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I guess I'll show that. I'll show the garrisoning. I just need to build a castle so I can garrison them.
Hi.
So I'm gonna build a castle down here. But yeah, they all stay, when you move multiple units together, they all stay in formation instead of kind of like just, like they don't like blob around the point you order them to move to. They spread out relatively evenly, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I guess if you want to describe how garrisoning works now, as I garrison these guys into the castle.
Well, most of the system has, I've tried to keep it the same as much as possible. But one thing that does certainly happen is once you garrison a single battalion, they all disappear at the same time. And let's say, for example, this castle, what is the limit on this castle? Like 20?
I think it's 20 soldiers.
Yeah.
Yep, it's 20.
So for example, if, like right now, because all of the battalions have exactly 10 soldiers within each battalion, this is going to fit perfectly within the building. But there are obviously going to be occasions where you might have depleted battalions of 5 or 6, which were previously 10. And let's say you would all garrison them in that building, then any unit that could still fit within that building, that will be put in there. But let's say there are an extra few soldiers within that battalion that wouldn't be able to fit within that cap of. Those 3 will just basically disappear for that particular moment. So you can still garrison the battalion. It's just not the entire battalion will actually be seen.
Right.
So, but it will still be obviously present when you push them out of the building.
Hi.
Yep, they all came back.
When you all eject them. So,
Get these workers out of here. I don't know how the workers got clustered up with them. Actually, look. Oh no, he's in that battalion there. It looks like there was one guy with his battalion missing, but he was just behind his battalion, probably because now he caught up with them.
There are still a few minor things that feel a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily say clunky, but sometimes you will see units that are like stuck together, and they will rejoin their battalions, especially if you go into attacking and whatnot.
It'll just take them a little bit of time.
Yeah, and it happens rarely, but you will see it from time to time. And one, I would say, pretty major decision I made is that you can see that all of the battalions, they are able to move through each other.
Yeah.
And so that's a decision I made. I completely removed their collision. Otherwise, it would constantly walk around and I think it's going to be incredibly tedious for gameplay.
Yeah, to micromanage them to not bump into each other.
Yeah, so
does the collision, is it only against other units? Like their collision will still work like on trees, for instance?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, obviously it works for buildings, because I've seen them go around buildings and not go through them. So that's cool.
Battalions.
I actually didn't know that.
Battalions cannot collide with other battalions while they are moving. So
is it only friendly battalions? Like, say for some reason, even enemy ones?
Yes.
Okay.
The moment they go into combat,
their collision starts back up again, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I actually didn't know that. I'm learning new things from this video too. That's a cool solution to, stop all these guys from getting stuck on each other, because that is one thing I noticed when I was testing this out. I'm like, man, they all managed to like stay in formation perfectly without any issues. The pathfinding seems pretty good, but I didn't notice that it's because they're not bumping into each other. That probably helps a lot.
I tested it out many times with the collision, and like this wouldn't happen, right?
Yeah.
The way they're doing it, right? They would all kind of they would all bump into each other and try to find a way around.
It's just a giant mosh pit.
It becomes a mosh pit for like, let's say 3 to 4 seconds, and
That's
then they
funny.
all move on. But if you have that every time you click your units into a formation, that's going to be incredibly annoying. So yeah,
Right.
but I would say give it a test as well on this video of a battle, because
I think I deleted all the levers on this map though. Oh well, there's statues down here I can attack. I'll go attack the Armos.
I would say, is the enemy player Gerudo?
Yeah, the AI is disabled. The AI is disabled on here.
You can still cheat them. You can still cheat units for them, and then have a battle with them.
I'll go ahead and attack the Armos down here. I guess on my way to attack the Armos though, I'll capture this and I'll show the civil center thing. So yeah, you basically order your guys to capture it. Actually, I should mention that capturing in general has actually been removed from the game. That's another.
Yeah.
That's not really a new feature. That's more like a feature we took out because it just wasn't. I don't know. So you can't like just go and capture any enemy building. There's very specific things you can capture, like these nodes on the map, and ruins you can capture, and minor faction, the command center of or the civil center for minor factions. You'll be able to capture those, but otherwise you can't capture buildings anymore. It just capturing wasn't. Oh, there's a lever right there. I guess I'll attack that lever. Attack him. I also changed the attack alarm. There, they killed that poor lever. But anyway, I'll go have them go attack those statues as I originally planned. The Armos slaughter. So yeah, when they attack enemies, they kind of break their formation, and so that they don't like, kind of like you said with when them bumping into each other before you got rid of that. Wasn't it that the case with fighting too, where they'd all like struggle to get to the one guy they're trying to attack?
Yeah, there's something that has been a thing with formations, obviously, from Zero AD's perspective.
I think the game just crashed.
Wow.
We'll be back in a minute, guys. There's gonna be an awkward edit. So yeah, to all the people watching this video, there was probably a very hard, awkward edit there because a little bug happened that we need to fix. But we're going to try and show a large-scale battle between a bunch of battalions. I wouldn't say this is large scale, it's just larger than a few guys. Hylians versus Gerudo, so this will be kind of cool. So let me get my Hylian guys here. And hopefully the bug doesn't resurface during this fight. So yeah, I got a bunch of swordsmen and spearmen and macemen.
It does seem to have. I hope it's from the past 2 to 3 weeks, because at least that will narrow it down quite significantly.
Yeah, assuming it is combat related, it probably is, because I've fought tons of levers and stuff like over the last few weeks, and it hasn't crashed on me at all. And you just sent me the newest files today. That's the first time I've gotten some kind of like a hard crash without anything. Assuming it is combat related, but I had the AI disabled, so your theory that it's related to your AI is kind of in question too.
Yeah,
so
probably.
Anyway, before the game crashed to desktop on us, we were going to show a battle with the Armos here, but this time instead we're going to show a battle with a bunch of Gerudo battalions and Hylian battalions. And this time I'm keeping these guys not upgraded, because when I fully upgraded them, they just like massacred the Gerudo I tested them out against. So this fight should be a little more even. Alright, you guys go attack them Gerudo. See House Aquami right there. See House Lurelin up there. There we go. Giant fight. I have the low poly patch on, so the frame rate should be quite a bit better than it would be if I had the high poly on. So yeah, they don't all attack the exact guy that you right click on. They kind of spread out and attack whatever is nearest to the guy that you right click on. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, if you do click a very specific soldier, they will try to go for that one as much as possible.
As much as possible, right?
Yeah. This is something that I did quite a bit of thorough testing on, because I know how frustrating combat can be if it doesn't operate smoothly, and I wanted all the battalions to act as battalions while they're moving around and on the field. But to make
pause. So I have no idea until we listen to the video, but the combat sounds might have been drowning out your voice.
Okay.
So
I wanted the battalions to act as much as battalions on the field while they were walking around and they're moving information. But I found that once they get into combat, the best way to actually have them fight as much as possible rather than just dilly-dallying around is to have them act as individuals as much as possible. And
right.
That was a bit a challenge to figure out. I was like, how do I want to make this work? And I needed some kind of strategy first of all before I decided like how am I going to put this into the code as well. And so this is just what I came up with, is that units or at least soldiers will act as much as individuals as possible once they get into combat. And so this is pretty much the result. So you will still have blobs form up, but when you give attack orders, most of the time you will have little armies of blobs fighting rather than just one single large blob fighting.
Right.
So they will still try to keep a semblance of formation while you are moving them around until the very moment they get into combat.
Well, the Gerudo defeated me here. Now they're going to go attack levers, and I did not get a hard crash to desktop, so I don't know if it's combat related as far as what's causing it, but
that's a trick, like trying to find out what's going on.
It might have something to do with pathfinding, maybe. I don't know. You're more knowledgeable of those things than I. But yeah, what other things can I show? I guess I'll show the new thing I added to hero units. Now they got like this little golden icon thing above them, so it's a little easier to track where a hero is. Like when there's a bunch of units fighting, you'll see the golden triangle thing hovering above them. That was a request of Deox, actually. It's also like little golden particles rising from them. So that should help you detect heroes and blobs of units. What else should we show? I think we've shown most of the
sounds from the buildings and...
well, they've probably been hearing the sounds as I've clicked on
okay.
them and stuff. I know you can't hear what's going on because OBS, but yeah, like right now I just trained archers. They probably heard their training sounds. I know before there was a crash, the new attack sound, the attack alarm sound went off. I turned the sounds down now so they could hear you talking over the combat. But yeah, here's a bunch of new Hylian units actually. Well, not a bunch, two. They have regular archers now, and they also have Scorpios, which can garrison in towers. And then they still have their crossbowmen that they had in the older version. They got a few new cavalry units too. I guess I'll show the new Hylian units. So let me build the stables and the siege works, and yeah, the church, because they got the priestess now too. So Hylians have two new cavalry units now. They got a scout cavalry, which is actually their scout unit now, and they've got levy cavalry, which can be upgraded into soldier cavalry and then kingdom cavalry like their normal units. So yeah, I guess we won't talk about stealth in this video. We'll save that for another time.
I actually don't mind talking a little bit about the stealth. I almost forgot about it.
Do you want to talk about stealth? Because the scouts are kind of related to stealth.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not, obviously first things first, stealth will not be in the next version.
It won't be in the next version,
No, or
but
the notes won't be either.
yeah, the nodes probably won't be.
But yeah, I've been working on stealth due to my, or well, to my dismay, because I didn't even really want to work on stealth. It's just I was just thinking about how I would solve the issue of stealth, and so I just had some weird impulse. But
I'm glad you
yeah,
had a weird impulse to do stealth.
I know you are, but I was constantly, well, debating you on the whole stealth thing that would just add more complexity to the game at the moment. So I didn't want
It
to
is a
do
needed
but,
feature.
but as far as stealth is concerned, it is actually almost finished to the degree that you can currently already test it out if you would want to, but I believe I chose not to send you all of them.
No, we'll save it for another. You did send me stealth stuff accidentally, and it actually caused it gave me some errors and warnings. So you didn't send me everything needed, and you're like, whoops. I might have looked at it, but no, we won't show any stealth things in this video. I just brought it up because scouts will be the main unit for each faction used to uncover stealth units. So scouts will be useful from all the way into the late game instead of just being like your starting guy that runs around to look at the map. But Hylian scouts can actually be upgraded into a combat unit called where is it? The just light cavalry, which can still detect stealth units, but they get a bit of armor and better swords and stuff. And they're really fast. Actually, that's another thing that I changed is cavalry just always run now. They always run instead of like walk.
Which looks a lot better.
Yeah, it looks a lot better, and it makes sense. Like if you're attacking with cavalry, they're gonna charge. Like, so yeah, they always run now instead of walk, which I think is cool. And then yeah, one of the other new Hylian units is not the Deacon, but since the Hylians have unit lines now, the Deacon's part of a unit line, and she can be turned into a priestess. Right there, and the priestess is a healer unit that'll also have a bunch of cool abilities when we add hero abilities and stuff into the engine. But for now, she's just a healer with some passive stuff. The Hylians really needed a healer. And then, yeah, they got a battering ram now, too. Not a very exciting unit, but useful for, like, a mid-game siege unit. So, yeah, they got a melee siege unit now. And then they still have the trebuchet, as they used to. The repeater crossbow siege unit was turned into the Scorpio, though. So, where did the Scorpio go? There they are. Which, I don't know, I think the Scorpios are better. Because, one, they're portable, so they can carry around the Scorpios. And also, you can garrison them inside, you know... Actually, I'll build the castle and I'll garrison them on the castle. They can shoot their giant Scorpios off the castle. Except, where's my workers? Probably way back over here somewhere. There they are.
Another thing about battalions, obviously not every feature of the battalions is actually completed.
Oh yeah, like replenishing.
So, yeah, replenishing is not finished yet. I was already working on it, but I didn't finish it, and because I was working on fixing other issues.
I actually forgot to give these guys the ability to garrison, so I can't show it right now. But in the next release, Scorpios will be able to garrison into castles and towers and on walls and stuff, and it'll be awesome. Yeah, I forgot to give them the capacity, or not the capacity. You know what? I know why. It's because they don't have the class. They don't have a class in their template file that allows them to garrison. So.
Right.
Yeah. Go on with replenishing. I kind of interrupted you there.
Oh no, I was pretty much just saying that replenishing isn't done yet. I was still debating it with you, I believe, about whether which specific ways we were going to allow specific factions to replenish their unit.
Yeah, the answer is all of them, because the different factions will have different ways of replenishing their battalions.
I just want to, in my opinion, we should make it as, we shouldn't make it as tedious as some other games would maybe do it, but
I think for at least for the Highlands, it should be kind of like the Battle for Middle Earth, where they have to be near a designated building. And in Battle for Middle Earth, it was the fountains.
Yeah, but in Battle for Middle Earth, you could also replenish units by just standing still if they
had gained a level, I think.
Yeah, if they had gained rank 2.
I feel like that method would work really well for the Goma, where like if you have like a Goma queen in a battalion, she'll just like spawn larva or whatever, or I don't know. We'll have to think about it.
Well, that's another thing. Is first of all, I would wanted to add an experience system, so you could rank up your battalions, which is not done yet.
Yeah.
And actually adding extra special officer type units to the battalion, that's also not.
Yeah, like bannermen, which I actually have the model for in the engine for the little guy that carries the flag, but I just haven't added him yet because we haven't done that for battalions yet. Do we want to include that stuff in the next release, or do we want to just release something for everyone before we get all of that done? What do you think?
Well, I already have to fix the AI. That's number one. This is not even. I'm not even talking about just the crash right now. I saw a few things that went wrong, and also the some of the philosophy behind the way that the AI operates with regard to gathering, for example.
Right.
That has to be edited for the AI as well. So that will probably take me another week or so, maybe even two to 3 weeks to get that to work. And so if you want to wait as well on more features for the battalions, I'm not sure if that is going to be a good idea.
We'll see how it goes, I guess.
We've been pushing back this release for a while, and
yeah, this is the longest. This is the longest delay that's been between release, or even like just showing videos. Like it's like I don't know if I can even say when the next release will be. I guess I'll just apologize for like the long delay, but we're adding a lot of really important things right now, and we kind of need the time to do it. So I apologize to the people that are like on the edge of their seat waiting for something, but yeah, the battalion system's kind of huge. So if we do decide to wait on some of those features, I guess it probably will be a while before the next release. We'll see how people respond in the comments and stuff. Like, if people are like, no, go ahead, take your time, or if like tons of people are like, no, release it like now. I don't know, we'll see. I feel like we should wait, honestly, to get certain things working right, because if we release it half-assed, then people are going to be like, oh, it's not working. Oh, where's my banner carriers? Like, there's going to be people like that are like, oh, why isn't it polished? It's like one of those situations where like we can't really win either way, so we just have to pick our poison. We either have to deal with impatient people or yeah.
Like what Jordan Peterson said, you get to pick your damn sacrifice.
Yeah, I think I'd rather deal with the people complaining that it's taking a long time than dealing with the people who are like, oh, this feels incomplete or unpolished. I feel like I'd rather deal with that.
I'm more on the side of we should release something, and then just let people be a part of the development process.
Yeah.
But if we do release something, then the features that we do add should at least work.
Yeah.
Right. So if we don't have banner carriers, I feel that is something that we can still add later. But for example, the fact that the current AI doesn't even know how to operate the battalions properly, that is something we should probably do before the release.
Yeah, I'm fine with not having like banner carriers and officers for the next release, or I'm even fine with no replenishing. Unless you feel like, you could get that done soon, then we could do those. But if not, then nah. So there probably won't be replenishing and officers in the next release then. I'm fine with those not being there.
It depends.
Yeah.
I can't say for sure. I believe that the AI is just going to be my priority after the battalions.
All right.
So and I'll probably still work on the battalions, on the other features, and maybe tweaking a few things here and there. But yeah, AI, especially, this is a big deal right now, is that probably a lot of people are going to be a bit upset by this, but because of the battalions, the older AI also doesn't know how to operate with the battalion system, and so that means for the next version, the old AI is no longer going to function. And some people might say, well, just fix the old AI.
It takes time.
I'm going to be really blunt about this. I am not going to fix an inferior version of the AI. I'm not doing it. So that's not happening. But that's why I want to adapt the new AI as fast as possible now. But that is going to mean that in the next version, unfortunately, that all the AIs after the Gerudo, I believe, they're not going to function.
So just the Hylians and the Gerudo will have AI in the next version, but not the Gorons or the... Okay. So, heads up, everyone. It's gonna be mostly a multiplayer mod for the time being. I'm sorry. It takes a long time to do some of this stuff. I don't know what else to say. Even if Exo had like my crazy work ethic, I still feel like it would take me a long time to do all the AI too. It's not as simple as it's not that simple.
I've worked on the new AI already for, I'd say, like nine months or something.
Yeah, like almost a year now. You started around the time I was working on the Moblins and the Darknuts, which was almost a year ago, like to the day. I think I released them like at the end of June last year, and that's when you started on the AI, and then we shifted over to doing a campaign mission. So yeah, you've been working on the AI like almost a year, and it's still not completely ready. It's a pretty big undertaking.
I would actually say, I mean, the things that are there are pretty decent, and there are a few tweaks that still need to be made, aside from the battalions. But it is still somewhat bare bones, and it was a pretty huge endeavor. I can say with some confidence though that adding in AI for new factions is going to be a lot faster.
Okay, once all the groundwork is done, basically.
Yeah, I've done a lot of groundwork that took a lot of time because I started doing everything from scratch basically. So a lot of the groundwork is there, and every faction is going to use that groundwork. So, but,
right.
Yeah, but now battalions come into the equation again, so yay.
All right. I guess, was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Because I know one last thing I'll show, but I'll save it for the end after we've.
Oh
talked.
No,
that's it.
Yeah, for me that's it right now.
All right, then I guess the last thing I'll show is Rubble, because I haven't shown it yet. And I guess I'll switch over to the Gerudo too after I destroy the Hylian base, and I'll show you what the Gerudo Rubble looks like. But yeah, all the factions in the game right now have their own style of Rubble, like when buildings get destroyed. So I'll go ahead and destroy the Temple of Time here. So yeah, like when a building gets destroyed, it's not the 0 AD one, it's the Hyrule Conquest has its own Rubble now. Destroy the castle.
What about the Titan sound?
Oh, well, let me, I'll train the Titan with the Gerudo when I switch over to them.
Yeah.
I'll also have to turn the volume back up, because I turned the volume down so they could hear you speaking over all the fighting. I'm gonna delete this building. I'll delete these three. There, you get the gist. That's the rubble for the Hylians. And I'll switch over to the Gerudo now. Alright, so let's build... Where's our workers? Guess I have to train new workers, because their workers don't seem to be here. Oh, I didn't turn off the battalions for their workers. Oh well. Alright, so I'll build their wonder, which I'll also destroy after I train Twin Rova. And what other buildings of theirs can I build? I'll build their walls, I guess, and destroy their walls. So, yeah, in the game, whenever you train a Titan, it plays a little music jingle that every player in the game can hear, and not just you, so that you kind of know when an enemy player makes a Titan. So I'll go ahead and train Twin Rova. And then... it didn't play the Titan sound. Oh well. You know what? Let me go back to the Highlands. It'll probably play it for Fee, because I've heard it play when I make Fee. Let me just find some workers and remake the Temple of Time. Remake it down here, and then I'll train Fee. I must not have added it to all the Titans, even though I'm certain the sound is in the parent template file, so... let's make Fee. Okay, it works for Fee. Even though I'd say that music's a little bit over dramatic for her in particular. So yeah, when you train a Titan, it plays really loud, ominous music to let you know that someone has made a Titan. Kind of like in Age of Mythology. And then let me switch back to the Gerudo, and I'll show you their rubble. So I'll destroy the Desert Colossus. There's the destroyed version of it. I'll destroy their walls. All of their walls. I'll destroy their security compound. Which, I actually need to redo the rubble for that, because I had to change the designs of their buildings to accommodate for units walking out of them. And I need to change the rubble for that building, because it's way bigger than it used to be. I'll destroy this one. Alright. So I think we've shown most of the new stuff. I guess we'll talk about the new hero system in another video, because that's not going to be in the next version. Was there anything else we forgot, or that you remembered, or is that pretty much everything? This video is actually probably going to be pretty long.
Yeah.
I think we've gone over an hour now.
Might have forgotten a few things here and there, but I mean...
it's going to take forever to upload this if it's over an hour.
We've covered everything that's... like all the major elements that are going to be implemented, or at least will be there for the next version.
Yeah, the battalions was like the big one. The battalions are like the central new thing for the next version. Most of the other stuff that's been added is like aesthetic stuff or visual stuff, like the rubble and the construction frames for buildings. And yeah, the nodes probably won't be in the next version. They might be. We'll see. But they probably won't. You'll probably still be able to build your civil centers wherever the hell you want in the next version of the game. But that won't be there forever. We're switching to the node system eventually. Trying to think if there's anything we forgot. I guess if there's something we forgot that's like a really big feature, then I'll just make another video, but I don't think there is. Yeah, I showed the little hero things. Alright, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed that video and all the new features coming up, and I appreciate your patience. I realize this has been a much longer gap between versions than normal, because I didn't work on a new faction or a cinematic or actually the cinematics would take me a long time to do, so maybe I don't know, maybe this isn't really that big of a gap. Like the last mission I worked on with the cinematics took me like 3 months to do. That was a pretty big delay, so I guess this isn't the biggest delay between releases. But I would show like little snippets of the cinematic as I was doing it, so I don't, maybe it didn't feel like a big delay to people, but yeah, hopefully you guys like what's going on. Is there any last thoughts you want to say, Exo, before I stop the video?
Everyone go and download the next version when it comes out.
Yeah, let us know how broken it is so we can fix it.
I'm already dreading the next patches that are coming up, but
hopefully
I
there
am
won't be that
sure-
many hopefully there won't be that many goof ups in the next version. There might be. We'll find out, I guess, when we release it.
It's software development. Something's bound to go wrong. It's Murphy's Law.
Murphy's Law. Murph. Alright, well, let's just see if I can get some different houses and then I'll end the video. Oh, I see House Kakariko, actually. The red and the white one. But yeah, mostly purple still. Anyway, you guys all have a good one, and I guess stay tuned for the next release or the next video or whatever comes out next. And yeah, that should be it. Bye.